So it's going to be an interesting match, seeing how Baker goes through it.
Yeah, for sure. And they're off as we go, and we get 20 rupees and bombs. So, nope, no good for either one of us, Dynasty.
Yeah, it tends to happen more often than not that there's
Yeah.
nothing much in these early chests. But Ender did get a few early bombs, which is very useful in the beginning.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And we're getting instant route divergence, which I always like to see early because you kind of learn more as you go. Looks like he's going for the immediate Houlihan, which is an interesting strat. It's not one that I am terribly in favor of for my own style because I like to see, am I even going to need a Houlihan, right? If, you find a couple chests with 300 rupees right off the bat, well, then you've just wasted time because you've got the money you needed. But on the other hand, if you do it early and it turns out to be a poverty seed, then you're kind of a little bit in the driving seat.
That is true. Early rupees is never a bad thing, as you do need to check many locations that require rupees. Now, on Baker's screen, we saw him get a Cane of Brian right off the bat.
The early one, and let's see what he gets from the pull. I was kind of hoping he would get magic jars and then really be able to make use of it, but no, he's limited to what he got out of the escape room, as we see Ender on his way up there as well. So back on track with each other after the initial divergence.
Now, it's not quite a sword, but a Cane of Brian is going to help a lot in these early fights here. It does do a fighter sword damage on contact, so it's pretty useful.
Yes, it is. I'm curious, though, just how quickly that magic's going to drain and if he's going to have enough to even be able to defeat this guard. Yeah, I got him, but now he doesn't have enough magic left really to continue. And I think he realizes it. Yes, he does. So he's going to go ahead and save and quit. Ender opting not to dive farther into Hyrule Castle. And I assume he's going to go up now and check. Well, if not Kakariko, head up to the Lumberjack Cave.
Yes, to check if Agam is going to be present in this seed.
Yeah. Looks like he is headed up there. Looks like they're both thinking that way. Ender going for the tree pole, but he has, I guess, been hit by an enemy since he killed, or maybe he never killed an enemy in the first place, one of the two.
Looks like the crab is only dropping hearts today.
Yeah, that's not very exciting, is it? And we just have bombs on the Lumberjack ledge, so perhaps Aghanim not required. Probably.
Possibly. We'll see later on. For now, Ender's going to keep on going to the Lost Woods, keep checking another couple of locations there.
Getting absolutely trolled by the bird. Oh, and the powder.
Interesting item.
Yes, and we get a map check by Baker. We have Crystal 3 at Hera, 7 at Eastern, and the red pendant in Desert Palace. And Ender finds the power glove in the thieves' hideout. So the seed thinking it might want to open up, huh?
Oh yeah, a lot. There's these early items tend to they do shine a bit, especially with gloves.
Yeah, obviously you've now got 2 paths to the Dark World with either the second lift upgrade or the hammer. And Ender going to make use of his sanctuary bombs now.
Yes. He'll be able to open up a few places here and there. There's 3 locations in Kakariko Village which you need bombs to check further in, and they have 3 right now, so that's perfect.
That's true, although if it ends... Oh, and the hook shot in Blind's hut, so already expanding their locations. What I was going to say was if that race game ends up having an item, you need a 4th bomb, so I imagine they'll be hoping to find at least one more.
Yep,
Well, I guess.
and this is where we kind of see Ender having a small advantage here because he did the Holy Hand room, he has plenty of rupees to check the bottle vendor guy, which has the first sword of the seed.
How
That's
about
a lucky
that?
find.
That is a little bit of a twist, although I do believe Baker will get enough, just barely, to be able to pay the man. Yeah, and Ender picking up a bottle as well. So that's convenient. Yeah, so Baker's over 100 now, but if he needs to buy bombs, he's still just a little bit short.
Yeah, that was my original point before seeing
Yeah,
a sword in there. Is because he did Holy Hand room, he has plenty of money to go buy bombs,
yeah,
which Baker might be tight.
he might. You're right. He's only too short, so he ought to be able to pick it up in the well, but it doesn't leave him a lot of leeway for anything else. So you're absolutely right, Dynasty. He's bought himself an advantage and, strangely enough, ended up a little bit ahead because he didn't start to go down escape. Strange as that sounds.
But early things like those, they don't really matter up that much in the end because these guys are still doing pretty much the same things at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Ender loaded back up with some bombs. Baker picks up his sword and lets the good bee go, and Ender gets a heart container from the sick kid. Not a bad item to receive early from the sick kid, so can't be too disappointed with that.
Oh,
And then the piece
yes.
of heart in the back of the bar gives him 6, so he's got to be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, before you're at your, I'd say, eighth heart in the seed, you're pretty much still looking to expand them a bit, as you don't want to go explore the Dark World dungeons too much with low hearts, or you could take easily a hit or two here and there.
Did we see what was on the bookshelf in the library?
Yes, I did.
How
That
about that?
was
So,
a
a
good.
flute. We're very, very likely to have a boots required seed now. 5 out of 7 chance that Meyer will be a crystal. So, looking likely, which would be nice. It would be nice to get some early boots here. Oh, and Ender YOLO's the race game and ends up with Bombos for his troubles. So, nicely done by him on that little gamble.
Bambos being one of those items he might need later on to open up either Turtle Rock or even Meyer. We don't know yet, but it's one of those three items he might need later on.
Baker going in to get the pun from the man in the bar. I've got to give him credit for that. It said, I got Wallmaster to help me moving furniture. He was really handy. So nicely done. I'd say that was worth the 6-second time loss or so.
Yeah, that's something I didn't know about since like this week. I didn't know that guy told puns.
Oh, okay.
I think I'm gonna start going to him in my siege just
May
to
as
see how
well,
he gets
right? I
his
mean,
pun.
yeah, what do you have to lose?
I mean, it's entertaining. Why not?
Exactly. All right, and Baker picking up his bombos. Ender having a look at the map, and he's just going to head down to the dam, getting trolled by the bowman. And it looks like Baker's hot on his heels, so... Oh, or is he? Yes, okay. Wasn't sure if he was headed the same way or not. Ender opting not to try the hookshot strat. And finds 10 arrows for his trouble in the chest. What about outside? Well, heart container, I imagine both players will pick that up.
It looks like he opts up to going into desert.
That's an interesting choice.
Yeah, I don't see runners do that much. They tend to go on the other side. This is a good gamble. I like it.
I could see it maybe with the book in your possession. But this is a long walk. And of course it's early. But they do add up, of course.
Indeed. There's only one location he can get here, and this right here is the Agnes Cave, as it's called.
Exactly. And he finds the boots. How about that?
There you go.
What a play by Ender, and great call, Dynasty, saying you like this one, because I honestly really did not. So,
like I said, this cave has trolled so many players so far because it does not have any requirements, and it's so far off. People tend to put it off.
That is very true.
But when it does have something useful in it, it's either you get it early or you get it super late.
It really late. Yep. You're absolutely right. And that's a possible plot point an hour or more from now, because we don't know if Baker's ever going to check that, considering we have a desert pendant.
That's true. So if he
and in all likelihood, going to need those boots to get the flute to get to Misery Mire. So this is a potential huge turning point real early here.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna make a difference, seeing when Baker is gonna go there. I mean, eventually, since Meyer can be required, if it is required, he'll need to go there to see what's there, because he will be blocked at some point.
Exactly. And Ender's just going to take care of it now, and I can't say I blame him. Baker getting whacked by the enemies.
Ah, yes, he got crabbed.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. These crabs do 2 hearts of damage. Early on, it's really hard.
Those OP crabs.
Looks like Baker is moving on to go see what's going on in Eastern and at Sriracha.
I assume that's where Ender will head after he turns in his flute. Or not turns it in, but activates it.
Well, he might go up Dark Mountain too. Death Mountain.
That's a good point.
Because with the flute and the hookshot, he has a lot of locations he can look up there.
That's a very good point. That's probably a good move. And imagine, finding the bow, something to that effect up there. But no, he heads down to 7, so I guess he's headed to the Moldorm Cave.
Ooh, and Baker just found the mirror in Sriracha's house. That's a great item to have. It'll speed up the movement here and there from going to Dark World to Light World, once they do have access to the Dark World.
Yeah, that's clearly the one time-saving item that he's got right now. That Ender will be trailing, but we'll see for just how long.
Now, Baker is making the early gamble to go into Eastern Palace without the bow. It's not a huge gamble to take nowadays, as it does have a few items in it. And you obviously can't complete it without the bow and technically the lamp, but it's still worth, I think, going inside to check the few early chests.
I agree. It's one of those that so many times it works out, and there's something you need in there that even going in without the bow and the risk of the couple minutes you're going to spend doing it, I feel like it's absolutely justified in almost every situation that an early game seed can throw at you.
So far, he only found 300 rupees, which is not a bad thing, as they haven't checked Zora yet. Obviously,
True.
you could say that they can't really check, but they can because early flippers, I mean fake flippers, is a thing.
Yes, or in theory, you could go the long way around um, via the witch's hut and
Oh,
use the
that's true.
glove.
They do have the power glove.
So Ender going straight to desert. That's really an interesting play. Having found the book in the mini Moldorm cave, I'm not sure with the flute access to Death Mountain, as you pointed out, Dynasty, that this move makes a whole lot of sense. He does have the boots though, so I suppose he's going to get 2 items, most likely, not have to
Yeah,
go to the
considering
back.
he does have the boots and the book, he can go check pretty much all items
Yeah,
except what Land Molas has.
odds are he'll get, and there's one of them. He'll get the item. So yeah, it's not a big time commitment, but it's still an interesting play. Meanwhile, Baker looks like he's going to go ahead and venture into the dark room of Eastern.
Now, these dark rooms aren't easy to go through, especially if you're not aware of where everything is in every dark room. This is one of the easier ones, I'd say, that
Yeah,
most
I
people learn.
expect these runners to handle these without any problem. Unlucky for Ender, he's going to have to grab the big key and have a look, as the map was in the small chest here. And Baker gets through the dark room just fine. And with 3.5 hearts to spare to glitch the chest, so he should be fine with that. Well, and as I say that, he fails to get the glitch, so he's going to have to kill the enemies in the room. Oh, and Ender unlucky to find just the compass in the big chest, so we have a dungeon item, or an item, rather, behind Lanmolas.
That is unfortunate, but it
Yeah, that's
might
a
not
bummer.
be interesting much more than that, as there's still plenty of really useless items such as
True.
bomb upgrades, single arrows, and more like those.
Lots of those. Oh, and Baker, unfortunate to find the map.
So both of those early commitments haven't paid out quite much right now.
Nope. With that early flute and boots, Death Mountain's looking better and better. Ender going to check escape, though, and this is good. And again, it's one of those that just seems like there's always something down here. It's only 3 items, but it just seems like it never fails.
Yeah, it's one of those places since it doesn't have a lot of requirements, just needing some kind of way to kill these guards.
Yeah,
You want to check pretty early on because they're quite fast and easy to go through. But it might lock something big though.
exactly. No, it's really a pure sphere 0 kind of situation, as they like to call it. Ender making quick work of the guards with the hookshot sword combo. Baker, no, Baker's thinking. No, he's not thinking. I thought he might be considering going the back way to get to that dark chest, but he's not going to do that.
Now, I didn't see if these guys have picked up the map so far in there, so they might be counting on that.
Ender just picked the map up in the previous chest that he got.
Ah, I see. So the middle chest does have an item in it. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's one of the things you really want to do in the randomizer is count the items you get in each dungeon, as it's fairly important sometimes if you want to skip a few chests here and there.
No doubt. It does make your life easier. So Baker doing his Houlihan so that he can head over to Zora, I presume. And now Ender making his way over to Eastern. Still no sign of Death Mountain.
Yeah,
Baker taking 3 quick hops into the refreshing water.
Now Ender's gonna find his mirror, and maybe now he'll opt to go up Death Mountain, because with the mirror, he can get into Tower of Hera.
Yeah, it may trigger the thought. So we'll see if that's what he ends up deciding to do. Looks like Baker is making his play on the flute, so we're going to get a little bit of parity back between these two. But no, Ender pressing on to Eastern. And we already know that will be a fruitless search for him. Zora aside, we're pretty much down to Death Mountain being the only place left for a progression item. Aren't we, Dynasty?
Yeah, that's pretty much the only place except for Zora, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
putting
about
Zora
it.
to one side. Obviously, when you're in this situation with the new chests at the Waterfall Ferry, you really do prefer to find the Moon Pearl before you go have a chat with Zora, because that's 2 extra items you can access.
Yeah.
Or, of course, the flippers. And you can get all 3, including the ledge. Baker, though, even though he's found the boots, he's either forgotten about the flute, or he just figures, well, while I'm here, I'll check desert. I've got the boots now.
And they're opting to not use the hook shot here. It's fine. It's a small detour.
Yeah, a little bit of a time-saving strat to use that hook shot, but it's not any kind of massive difference.
Now, from what we can see so far, these guys still need to find a few really good items for the seed to open up. They need a hammer to go into the dark world, or another lift upgrade, the Titan's Mitts.
Right.
But even that's not enough, because even with those items, they will still be stuck as a bunny in the dark world.
Exactly. That's why I'm thinking your early call of Death Mountain is really looking like the play, because there's really not very many other places the Moon Pearl could be now.
Now, I just hope this isn't going to be a vanilla Moon Pearl situation, but it does look like it right now.
That would be interesting, yes.
Which is quite funny, because that's not my first time it's going to happen if it does. I've actually commentated a scene that did happen, and that was the last location one of the players actually looked.
So it was Hera Big Chest, huh?
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, that's not a real common one that you see, which is funny, because really there are a lot of locations the Moon Pearl cannot be in. So you'd think it would happen more often maybe than it does.
Yeah.
But it sure doesn't seem like it to me. Does it to you?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it to me. Every time I see these kinds of items being in their vanilla location, I always just don't know what to think.
Yeah.
You're so confused at seeing the item where it's supposed to
where
be
it
in the
belongs.
first place.
Yeah. Well, and Ender doing everything he can to avoid Death Mountain, now headed to Zora via the Witch's Hut. So he's going to go ahead and go for one item here with a very long associated walk. We'll see if this pays off. Baker going ahead and getting his flute. Sorry about that, Dynasty.
Oh, no problem. Flute is pretty much more important than anything else.
Yeah. No, that's definitely the play. Now Ender, yeah, he's gonna have to navigate this the vanilla way. We're seeing potential for lots of vanilla stuff here. How about vanilla flippers? That would be an interesting one.
Oh yeah, that would be one.
But no. Instead, a
Only
big
life
fat
lessons.
so throws the bomb. Nicely done, Ender.
That's always a proper reaction.
I agree. The rip-off of a lifetime. All right. Ender fluting. Are we going to go to 1? Yes, we are. Now, is he going to go get the old man? Yes, he is. Okay.
Ooh,
So,
that's a pretty nice one to know.
yeah, a little bit of a sequence break. Nothing big, but it still can ultimately save you some time and doesn't really cost you any to do this besides the slow walking speed with the sword. So, not a big deal at all. And is Baker headed to 1? Yes, he is. So he is right back on Ender's tail.
So these guys are really, really close as they both have pretty much the same items and then the same things.
Just high-fived each other in there. And yeah, just as we were predicting, looking like this was going to be a very even matchup. Well, 26 minutes and change in, that's exactly what we're seeing. No S4, no gamble on Hera yet. I think we're about to see it, although Ender, I think, making a viable play here since he has the hook shot heading to the east part of Death Mountain first, as there are a lot more locations. But
Yes.
I've got a nagging feeling it's going to be Hera. And he better be careful, as he does manage to sneak by. And Baker doing the same, so both of them headed to the east. Ah, and a Master Sword. So rather than having to fight Trolldorm with the Fighter Sword, going to have an upgrade there, both of reach and damage.
Now, the Master Sword is a blessing to have early on, but it's also a bit worrisome sometimes.
And there's the hammer for
Now,
Ender.
that's a
So
cool
this
item to have.
is a great item to have. They can now go round the back way if they wish. Although I assume... Well, no, Ender just taking the fall. That's interesting. Okay, so he's going to walk back outside. I was going to say, they do need to do Hookshot Cave in theory. They don't have to, but that's probably a sensible play to make.
Well, Hookshot Cave is still locked a bit behind a Mitz rock.
Oh, not Hookshot Cave, just Spiral Cave. Was I saying Hookshot Cave?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
There's so many locations. I can forgive a few going.
Oh, well, I'll just say it's been a long day. Ender using the cane strats because, yeah, dangerous on health and smart play to get that fairy out of there. And he is heading to Spiral Cave. With Baker hot on his heels. Just a piece of heart there, but it is a multiple of 4 for Ender, so another health refill. And he's going to go back up again. I'm not sure. So if you've got the hookshot glitch, the dash glitch, what do you think, Dynasty, about just saving and quitting once you've done Spiral Cave and you can now head up the left side to get to Hera instead of doing it the way Ender's doing it?
Well, I think I would do that too, just to be able to look at what's inside Spectacle Rock at the same time.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. You get to kill a couple birds with the one stone.
Now, he
Now,
might still be able to check what's on top and even what's at Ether Tablet, and that's exactly what he does.
yeah.
But he will be missing one location. He's probably just going to check it afterwards, which is not that bad.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. Oh, and the flippers at the tablet.
Yeah, except if inside the inside of Spectacle Rock is a fire source. That could change everything, though.
That's a very good point, and you'd hate to leave that behind, wouldn't you? So, yeah, that could very well be. As we find the small key, so if there's no big key up here or fire source at the chest up in the north part of the ground floor, it's right back outside. And it's the shovel. Is he going to remember? No, he's not. He's headed downstairs. This is something I do all the time, and it'll drive you crazy because it's all your fault that you just wasted all of this time.
Oh yes, these unnecessary towel rooms, they hurt sometimes.
They do. Ender gets inside, but I don't think he's going to be able to go up into the gap. S4, I think I prefer fire sauce. It's a good one. Oh, he's just remembered. So he remembered midstream that he doesn't have a fire source.
Well, better
But
late
he's
than
forgotten
never.
Spectacle Rock. Oh boy. Now Baker has routed this identically. It's very interesting that it's turning out this way.
And they're doing the gamble of going to check what's inside of, well, at the shovel location, which is one of those fetch quest items.
Yeah, I don't understand this play honestly, because you've got the ability to get to the Dark World now and you have a mirror. So since you're going to be checking with Stumpy anyway, you can do that at the time. Well, and Baker's headed downstairs too, unfortunately. Let's see how long it takes him. Oh, and he's trapped, and he's going to have to hit all these tiles. Ender now checking the waterfall cave. And it's 40 rupees. Going to use the portal to head over, check Lake Hylia Island, and I imagine that below. And Ender may have just realized, yes, he did, that fire. So that neither of them got into the actual room, the torches. Now, is he going to remember? Yes, he is. Going to jump down and have a look. This could be big. But no, it's just a bomb upgrade. So Ender lucking out a little bit on that one, Dynasty.
Indeed, he did, but it might still be something he might stress about a bit during the run if he remembers about
If
it.
he remembers, yeah. Very well may not. He'll think,
Because
I've been up there, I've been to Hera, I've checked the tab. It'll just be ticked off in his mind.
Because there's nothing worse than knowing you forgot a location and just don't want to go check it right now because it's not a right time to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Baker, interestingly enough, taking this route to get to, and he's, okay, I was going to say he was about to skip the waterfall cave. But he has not. Moon Pearl at Batman.
Batman, what was you doing with the Moon Pearl? Wow.
So, Aghanim not required. We were getting awfully close.
That is true, but without the lamp, they can't be required. But we were missing not not a lot of locations now.
Yeah, absolutely. If that had been the lamp instead of the moon pearl, that might have been just
Yeah.
what we were looking at. So Ender taking the long way up to hammer into the dark world near Kakariko. And Baker just about to be docked 480 rupees. All right.
Now, we'll get to
And
see soon enough a look at the map in the dark world to see which dungeon is required.
yeah, and Ender just going right down into the village of Outcasts without a map check. I'm curious about that because oftentimes when Skull Woods is a pendant, even if you don't have the fire rod, you kind of feel like, well, yeah, I could check that because it's just the front part. Might get
Yeah.
an item or two.
Especially in version 26, where
Yeah.
Skullwoods always seem to have useful items in it.
Well, and statistically, 32% of the time there is an advancement item in Skull Woods.
That's almost a third of the time, so
Yeah.
that's a pretty good gamble.
Not bad for a dungeon with 2 items in it.
Now, we know that Thieves Town is a pendant dungeon because earlier they've talked to Sriracha, so they know that he told them to where the green pendant was.
S4 asking in chat if it wasn't something like 45% of Skullwoods. It could have been. I'm going by my memory of the spreadsheet Evil Ash 25 posted, and I wanted to say it was 32.2%. But it certainly wouldn't be the first time I'd misremembered something. So, in any event, what we can all agree on is that it's a lot, especially for only having 2 item locations.
Yeah, and now we just got a quick look at the Dark World map, so we know which dungeon is required now.
And along those lines, was Meyer a crystal?
I believe it was a pendant.
Interesting. So we ended up with the reason the flute was required was to get up to not to go to Misery Mire. So funny how that worked out. Although who knows, they very well may need to go there by the end of the seed anyway.
That's true. Doesn't mean that a pendant dungeon isn't required to go dip in to find a few items, which often happens anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially since these two players haven't looked if this is a pedestal seed.
True, don't know it yet. That would be some serious hype considering. Trying to think of what items given. Oh, and Baker as well getting tattled on by that. Well, let's just call her witchy woman. Just as Ender did. But in any event, looking at the crystal dungeons and the requirements, trying to think what could be on the pedestal. I suppose. So if Thieves Town, Desert, and Mire are the pendant, then I suppose we could go for a bow pedestal. That would be
That
pretty
would
excellent.
be pretty awful. Bow is like my favorite item, and the that's my like. It's not. It's rarely my go mode item. It's the item when I pick up, I go, okay, this seed is going well.
It's your go-to. Let's call it that. Your
Yeah.
go-to item.
Anytime I have to go within a dungeon without the bow, whatever the dungeon is, I'm like, okay, I hope I find it here.
Oh, if I find it here, yeah. That's a familiar refrain in V26 too, I think, for a lot of people.
It's a bit of a same, like the bow and the hammer are like these items where you can't wait to find because they open up the sea pretty much.
They really do. Bow, boom. I've got access for the entirety of 2 dungeons. Hammer, boom. Couple more. Hookshot, obviously. Obviously there are progression items, but then there are progression items, and there's a definite difference between them.
Yeah. And now Ender just finding a map inside the big chest here.
Interesting to head in there without... I've never seen anyone route it that way. To go in there first before getting blind and finding the bloomerang in blind cell. And he can just head back up because he routed it in reverse. And Baker caught by the witchy woman again.
Looks like he found out that he could access the bat, so he's gonna look at that right now.
Yeah, thank goodness. And then he'll be on his way. Enter looks like he's kind of trying to use beam strats, but now he can't. But doing well. He's 2/3 of the way done, and he's still got a fair bit of life. Getting the cane ready in case he needs it, but I think he'll be fine, yes, as he gets 2 out of 3 of the final hits, and there he goes.
Yeah, that was a pretty good fight.
It was, and rewarded with yet another B. Picks up the green pendant for his trouble, so nothing looking like it was vital in there, but it's tough in V26 to just ignore Thieves Town. It
Oh,
really
yes.
is.
There's nothing worse than just looking up at your Dark World map and seeing Thieves Town as a pendant dungeon. And you go, well, I'll probably go look into it anyway because there's so many. There's a pretty good chance that Thieves Town still has something useful in it.
Right. There really is, and so
since there's pretty much no requirements other than being able to go to Dark World to finish the dungeon, and the hammer to actually complete it.
Right.
Now, this is some more interesting route divergence as Baker is going into Skull Woods.
Yeah, I'm glad to see this play.
Yeah, and Ender is going to south of the village to go do all of the southern portion, which still has its good share of items down there.
Yeah, it sure does. Obviously can't do Froggy or the chest yet without the Titan's mitts, but able to do the ledge cave here, able to do Stumpy, and then of course the chests. Can go up and check the pyramid and catfish if he likes. So lots of stuff. I'm thinking Baker's death there was intentional, by the way. He only had a couple of hearts and he just walked in the door. So I imagine he was just doing that for some life recovery.
Yeah, getting a death into a dungeon such as Skull Woods is not nearly as bad, as they pretty much respawn in the next room almost.
Yeah, and he had just walked in. So I think that was intentional on his part. Having a little bit of trouble with this mummy, Gibdo, whose name escaped me there for a moment. But able to get through it. Back down to 2 hearts, however, so going to need to be careful. There is a heart for him there in that pot, but he passes it by. Marith messaging in chat that he played a seed, he or she, sorry, played a seed that had Thieves Town is a pendant, but both the hookshot and the flippers. So yes, that just absolutely makes the point that it can be crazy in there sometimes. Meanwhile, Hype Cave, not a lot of hype.
Yeah, that was some pretty disappointing cave. Leaves a bomb while going out. That's still... The bomb is one of those items where it's very useful all around, but it's also used as a bit of a frustration item.
Yes. Ender with the early swamp play. This is... You don't often see swamp at 45 minutes in.
That's true. They tend
So,
to wait up to not be able to do all of the swamp, especially the left side, since it
right.
take a few more minutes.
Oh, and Baker getting trolled by the Gibdos and the Masters.
But as Hinhei points out in chat, getting 6 item in swamp is not... That's not a bad play by all means.
Agreed. It's just that you don't often see it. It's unconventional. Certainly doesn't mean it's a bad one, especially given the seed situation.
Yeah.
Baker taking a moment to, well, who knows, maybe go mix himself a drink after the way he was trolled by those Gibdos.
I don't believe Baker found both items in Skull Woods so far.
No, and he didn't get to the back of that next area because of the trolling between the Gibdos and the Wallmasters. So if he's going to give it another shot, well, he'll need to get right on that. I hope everything's okay over there.
So far, Ender is going through Swamp Palace at a pretty good pace, getting trolled here and there by his skeletons, as they always do.
Yeah, that never fails. I'm thinking maybe using the Cane of Burna here would be advisable for Baker. Something just to keep those guys off his back. Because poking with the Master Sword and spinning, it still takes a long time. Finally got one of them. Oh, got the double hit with a spin, so that was nice. But let go just a few frames early and got hit again. But now he's eliminated them. Alright, gets a bonus heart for his trouble. And gets wall mastered. Unbelievable. That is so frustrating.
Yeah,
So
we might even see him go do something else because of that.
Yeah.
It's not uncommon for a runner to be blocked by something like that and just give up on it and go back later when they have better equipment. It's not necessarily a bad thing too. It could be only a useless item that's there.
You're right.
Later on.
And it's also not even entirely a question of the equipment. It's also being in a better state of mind, because after having those guys all over you like that, you just get frustrated. Oh, and finds the silver arrows on the bumper cave ledge, but the killer birds of the Dark World putting him back down, unfortunately.
Yeah, the murder dactyls, as I call them. 4 hearts of damage on Greenmel. That's not something to laugh at.
And Ender finding the bow on the left side of Swamp Palace.
There we go. It did pay off in the end.
And the Cane of Samaria, my goodness. What a play this has been. I think he's just taking a moment to soak it all in, because that is big time for Ender.
Now that's a lot of anxiety just gone by finding these items. He will
Absolutely. You
be able
feel,
to route everything a bit better now.
yeah. Oh, you feel so much. I mean, really few barriers now left. Obviously, both players still lacking a fire source, but that aside, really just in a flash, so much has opened up to Ender.
That's true. And now we can count how many stuff they still need. They need the fire rod and the ice rod for Turtle Rock. And they will also need to find which medallion they need for that dungeon. But other than that, they pretty much have everything they need to complete this seed. Oh, and of course, Titan's Myth.
Yes, that'll be a necessity for sure. All right, Ender headed downstairs. And Baker, interesting, going back to Skull Woods. Well, Perseverance, what do you think of this dynasty?
Well, I think it's not a bad play. Sometimes it can put you back into the right state of mind. Finally, get over the hurdle you've been hitting your head against. So, if that's what it takes to get him back into the game, I don't see a problem in that.
Yeah, I agree with you. And making the smart play to use the cane, unfortunately, I feel like he did it a little, not remove the skull pot. And so, although he does have the beams now, which is helpful, even gives one to the Wall Master for good measure. And this Gibdo, though, just keeps finding its way. Okay, now. Okay, good. Gets out of the way as Ender reaches Argus. And Baker makes his way to the back. And he finds a key. So, all that effort for not too much.
Yeah, this is unfortunate because he can't really continue into Skull Woods as it's blocked by a fire rod.
No, I imagine he's checking the pedestal, but he certainly can't continue on. All right, Ender gotten rid of Argus's blobs. Gonna try the hammer strats. And oh my goodness, we have Ether on the pedestal.
This is really interesting because
Very interesting.
this is it might be a pedestal seed for all we know.
Just might be. And Baker bombing the pedestal. We have both players just engaged in bomb terrorism around Hyrule. It's absolutely hilarious. No, Anthony, it'll be Ether. It's the coin that freezes everything is Ether. So yes, Clifford rightly pointing out in chat, this is a Schrodinger's pedestal right now because we don't know. We've not measured Turtle Rock yet.
So now Baker, he looks like he's a bit behind, but he does have some crucial information on what's on the pedestal. Might push him into dungeons with pendants now.
True, although
Yeah.
it's still a pretty minor concern before you even have the Titan's Mitts, of course.
That is true, because without Titan's Myth, you don't have any way to actually know what's up at the Turtle Rock.
Ender, freshly out of swamp, now looks like he's maybe headed toward East Dark World. Yeah, looks like he's headed that way. good routing here to do that straight out of swamp. No need for any screen transitions or the like. And a heart container on the pyramid, which I imagine Ender he does.
Now, this could also be a play to go into Palace of Darkness right now and complete Eastern right after, as he's pretty close to both of them.
Yeah, I think he would be well served to do that. So we'll see if that's what he goes ahead and does after he checks Catfish. Yeah, Meyer can't be Ether. In fact, we've already seen Meyer, haven't we? Dynasty, that was Bombos, wasn't it?
I believe it was.
Okay.
Wait, no, we can't have seen Meyer. That's another seed
Oh, that's
because
true. That's a
it's
good
still
point.
locked behind myths.
I think I must have been thinking of my seed from Earth. little brain cramp there, but yeah, it obviously because pedestal Meyer can't require Ether.
Yeah, it's one of those things that happens when you tend to play or commentate a lot of seeds.
That's right.
You get a bit confused as which seed is what.
Yeah, exactly. All right, looks like Ender's headed back. I actually think if you measured this, mirroring back to 4 is a little bit quicker. Oh. He's going to stop by the witches, though, so he has a dual purpose to doing this. Well, or not. No, he's just deciding to flute, so let's see where he goes. Back up to 1. Maybe he has just remembered that he never checked Spectacle Rock.
Could be. Now, Baker trying his way through Thievestown, trying to find if this is the correct gamble. Unfortunately, as we know, there's nothing good in Thievestown. Except maybe the medallion. That might be useful.
It
Both
may.
because we don't know what Sriracha has,
Right.
and we don't know if pedestal is required too.
Exactly. And an interesting use of the sparkles there by Ender. I like that. I think he maybe remembered he hadn't checked, and he thought, well, I can just do it now, and then go right back to where it was.
Yep, not losing his Dark World portal
Yeah.
to go back there easily. It's not a bad play.
Yeah,
Instead
nicely
of
done.
saving and quitting.
Now, that's another potential aspect of Thieves' Town, is that it was the pendant, was it not? So, are we going to see that come into play? Well, we'll find out right now. No. A little bit of love from Sahasrara.
Now, there was nothing much there, but it's still something that might be useful later on. For now, it looks like he'll be entering Palace of Darkness, which he can complete for the most part if he knows how to go through the dark rooms. And that's definitely not the easier ones.
No. No, tough with the maze on the left side, and of course going downstairs and having to hammer those turtles in the dark. Never fun. But we'll see what he can do. There's the almost 100% obligatory key. Grabbing that. Meanwhile, Baker headed down to the basement of Thieves' Den.
He will soon be able to grab his bloomerang.
I have to say, Baker's maiden looking a little bit, well, pale. Undoubtedly due to the palette change on his right.
You would think that would give you some kind of indication that something's wrong with this maiden, but you know what they say, don't judge a book by its color.
Oh, very nice. All right, let's see what Baker can do. Nice full hearts here. Oh, and Blind suddenly looking a little bit more rosy before turning into a sort of fiery cat thing, whatever he is. I'm going to go ahead and use the cane briefly, but to very excellent effect. And there it is. Well done, Baker. We hate to tell you, there's only a piece of heart for you. Ah, an ender with excellent use of the bonk strat to put the gate up and just walk out of the room, and path is clear. Nicely done.
Now, there's still a few chests he can look without being able to go in the dark.
True.
And the chests downstairs on his right are pretty easy to navigate to.
Also true, yes. Well, he needs this to be the lantern if he's easy to it, and it's a key. So we know that there is no lantern in Palace of Darkness. Where else could that thing be?
I'm not sure, actually.
Yeah, it's
Looking at
really
this
starting
right now.
to be a bit of a puzzle, isn't it? Ender looking for that second chest. Gotta be around there somewhere. There it is, and it's the ice rod. Well, how about that? And he's just gonna mirror out, so decided not to go ahead and venture into the other dark in pod, but wow. What a result that is.
Yeah, I really don't. I don't think that's a bad idea to go away from there, especially because the maze room, the dark maze room, is not. It's not fun at all to go through if you don't really know your way.
No, it's certainly no picnic. Just over the hour mark here, and our players still lacking any kind of fire source, lantern, or fire rod. A lot of potential openings, but still just being held back by that last couple of items.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, a few locations neither of these runners have been to is the northern part of Dark World Hyrule, such as the graveyard and Kingstown.
That's true, and they do have the tools they need to open all of those locations.
Because apart from these two places, I don't think there's any more places the lamp could be.
We are definitely running out. Looks like Baker may be making the play on Swamp Palace. Yep, looks like that's what he's doing. Meanwhile, Ender going to find very little in Skull Woods, just as Baker did earlier.
Yes, he will unfortunately only find a few small keys here and there. The later treasure is in the last part of Skullwood, which they can't go into without the fire rod, which we have no idea where it is. It's certainly a strange seed, as usually it's the ice rod you tend to look for when Turtle Rock is required, not the fire rod.
That's true, because there are so many more dependencies for the fire rod.
Yeah.
Or at least for some source of fire. Yes, S4, they have checked desert. No luck.
I don't believe they checked Bombo's tablet, though.
True. That would be quite the stretch, since most people like to check that when they're taking the chest over there, and of course they can't access that yet.
Yeah, I really understand them for wanting to put him off, but
Yep.
as we're seeing right now, there's not a lot of locations left to check.
So is that your call for where the fire rod's going?
It's one of those three places, right? It has to be at this point. There's so few locations where it could be.
Yeah, I really can't think of anything else. Well, but you know what? It could also be somewhere in Ice Palace. We haven't talked about that.
It could be if they find the Titan's myths in one
Yeah.
of those locations.
Yeah. So we've got a couple of steps to get there. That's somewhere else possible. I almost wonder if one of them does find the Titan's myths, if that'll be the first place they go.
It would probably be a good idea, since the Ice Palace is also one of the two crystals that unlock the big bomb for the double-chested fairy cave.
Right. Ender going ahead and restoring his health thanks to the little guy in Dark World Sanctuary. That is a play you don't see too often in Randomizer, so that was done by...
Still a neat thing to know when you're low on hearts. It's fun to know where you can refill your hearts.
Yeah, in an emergency. Oh! And Ender finds the Titan's mitts.
Now this will open up a bit more.
He of course has Dark World Death Mountain now. He can have a peek into Turtle Rock. One item, potentially.
That's true.
We've got Ice Palace. We've got Misery Mire and the surrounding areas. So suddenly we have a lot more possibilities. But you're sticking with Bombo's tablet, right, Dynasty?
Oh yeah, Bombo's tablet. Yes. I want to see something there. Just as the ultimate troll thing.
It certainly would be at this point, because now they have no reason to look there again.
Exactly.
They have so many other things to do.
But you know, since they have Titan's Myth, they will check it eventually when they check with the purple chest. So it's not as strange locations.
That's true. What would be really interesting is if Baker, who's just picked up his bow, ends up routing differently and maybe does Bombo's first before he goes and checks, say, King's Tomb, or I guess it was the ledge. Who knows what he might find? And it might take him an entirely different direction. Really, at this point, because he's trailing, that's his best hope, I think. But Ender, as we were discussing, dives right on in to Ice Palace, so we'll see what he can make of this.
Now, it's not a bad play like we talked earlier, but it is unfortunate because Ice Palace, when you're not in go mode, is not a fun dungeon to go through.
No, you'd much rather just bomb, jump, and get done quick. Oh, and here's a question. Did Ender go back and check the big chest? Did he take the time to do that? I can't remember. Here in Swamp, I mean. And yes, Clifford, that's right. Ender does not know about the pedestal. So that is certainly a potentially... So we'll see as Baker makes his swamp. Ender getting trolled by the ball, dropping that bomb. And he heads down into the double Stalfos room of Ice Palace. Places the bomb a little bit awkwardly and didn't quite get it there. He'll be make up here. There he goes.
Still gets a double kill. Not the one he wanted, but still got it.
It worked out. Getting spiked to all heck. Able to make his way through, and it looks like he's setting up for the bomb jump, so... Not exactly necessary, because you're thinking you're going to have to full clear this place. Oh, and he gets it, like, dynamically. That was quite the god move right there. Very nicely.
Yeah, it's always fun to see somebody that gets the bomb jump pretty early on, as it's not an easy thing to go through.
No, but to get that adjustment, knowing he was off, and to time it basically perfectly. Really nice job.
Now Baker going through his fight with Argus.
Oh, Dynasty, I see in chat that you've got Ether over at your place.
So, yeah, Ether in the sky.
Yeah. So that's where the pedestal is. I never realized. All right, what do we see in this chest, Ender? The bug net. So the trolls continuing on the item locations. Baker doing spin slashes, and honestly, this makes more sense than hammer damage. Although if you give him a normal whack, it's not. Ender is a little bit short of magic. Oh, except he's not using the fire rod, of course. But he is going to have to face Cold Stare with just the Master Sword.
Which is definitely not an easy task.
No, it's not. You hope to slash them into the corner, but keeping them there is no small feat. And he does pretty well to get them against the... And yeah, it did some pretty good damage. Now really just got to watch the HP. He's already one hit away by one of the eyes, so he plays it safe.
Uses a blue potion to make sure he doesn't take one of those quick puffball hit, or one of even the ice falling from the top of the room can be quite trolly.
He's down to 3 again, so really gonna have to be conservative as he's on, I believe, his last blue. Using the cane, not a bad idea at all. Looks like yes, he did. He got 1, he got 2. This particular eye, though, I don't think it's taken a lot of damage yet. But he's got it. Nicely done, Ender. Picks up a key for his troubles. And gets the crystal. So I'm not sure if he went in there just hoping that the front chests would have something useful. And that was his plan all along, or if he decided midway through that he basically go, well, nope, he's headed right back in. So thought he'd give it a shot, I guess.
Yeah, there's a few different ways to go through Ice Palace when you're not in go mode, and I think he opted to just complete the dungeon in the first place using the bomb strats, and he might go the vanilla way just to check the few chests are at the end.
Shout out, by the way, to our lovely tracker, Imosaru, doing an excellent job keeping us up to date. Thank you very much. So Baker about to go find out Catfish doesn't have anything interesting. As Ender does the Stalfos room at take 2. Looks like he might have this one lined up. Yes, he does.
First try, every try.
Baker opting to grab that piece of heart, and that gives him a heart container. Although he did not take the heart container on the pyramid.
Maybe he's hoping it's the Sanctuary Heart so he could get an easy refill at Ganon later on.
Well, that's a good point. Looks like he might be headed down toward Pod, so... Oh, no, headed across. Interesting. So he may now be finding the Titan's base. This is not the way to go, however. This bee just absolutely trolling him unbelievably. And Ender finds the big key. So he'll head back over to that, as well as get this chest here. And then I think he's about done, isn't he?
If I counted well, he should have every chest now with the big key chest.
Okay. Not going to use the hookshot strat, just fall straight down to it. And he finds a key. So...
Oh no, there's one more chest left. I forgot about that one.
Oh, he did,
Yes.
yeah. Because of his pathing, I wasn't
Yeah.
really either. He doesn't really need this key in the pot. Not that it hurts, but his goal should be the chest. Or it should be the switch, rather. And yeah, come down around to the room with the jellyfish.
Yep. You see, that's one of those chests where it's awkward to get to.
Mm-hmm. It is. And he finds the lantern in it, so it's a good thing that he was counting.
Oh, yeah. And
Baker now, though, headed to Dark World Death Mountain with his Titans. So we're getting immediate divergence.
Now we're in 20 minutes in. They find their first fire item. Well, apart from Bumbles, that is.
Yeah. Probably the least useful fire item. Very specialized use. So now Ender says, well, all right then. Straight back to Palace of Darkness, I'm going.
Meanwhile, Baker making another play to go look at Dark Death Mountain, seeing what's on these items.
And he may as well, and we're going to get our Turtle Rock medallion check most likely. So let's see what we got. Okay, here's the moment of truth. Oh, and it's Bombos.
Pedestal hype for nothing.
Yep, the Freezy coin will be left behind. And I hate to say it, but that may all... Well, it does. It makes Baker's path back a lot more treacherous. He's really got a lot of work to do now. Ender's slashing around in the dark. He's just going to mirror back to the front, which I don't blame him. Well, Tempered Sword in Hookshot Cave, so not a complete miss, but definitely not what Baker was looking for in the end.
We'll be able to make up a bit of time on a few bosses here and there, though.
True. That is a good point. All right, and going to check Spike Cave. He certainly has the equipment for it. And he finds $5. Well, he's got to be getting frustrated.
Now, I believe if he probably look at what items he has right now, he's probably looking and going, okay, where am I supposed to go?
Yeah.
And the only location really that's left is Ice Palace. And that's where he's going right now.
That's where he's headed. At least it's the only crystal location. You could go to Meyer. He's got the Titan's Mitts now, and he has the cane. So
that's true.
If you wanted to make a gamble, I think Meyer would be your call, but as we know, at least partially, that's not the immediate play. Let's put it that way. Maybe it will end up being, but for now, Ice is a good choice.
Now, from Ender's part, we're going to see a Master Sword Helmasaur.
Yeah, he could opt for the 8 arrow shots.
Yeah, that's true. He does have a lot of arrows, so you could spare them.
He's got the mask off, and it looks like that is what he's going for, and he gets it. Nicely done. Ender, very solid execution on the bosses today. Sometimes rather unequipped. Under-equipped, I should say.
That's true. Now, because of his routing, he'll be able to do Eastern right away, doing crystal after crystal right here. And that's
Yeah.
a pretty cool thing to do because that does give you, I wouldn't say an advantage, but it gives you a bit of a go mode feeling as you're going through dungeons pretty quickly here.
And I'll be honest, I would say it would give you an advantage. I mean, you're talking, it's just a raw save of time. It's absolutely a benefit.
That's true. It's good routing, what it is.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, he's already been in here, so really can take the express lane to the back.
Now, these guys are still missing the illustrious fire rod that is somewhere. And it will be useful, let's say, soon enough because they're running out of dungeons to be able to do.
Right. Nope, it's going from something you'd like to have to absolutely need pretty soon. Now, if I'm not mistaken, was there one item left in Eastern that the Armos Knights will have? Or did they get them all?
I think it does have an item here.
Okay. Nice job by Ender getting the one cycle on those two red guards, and see how he handles the Armos fight. Not too bad, and he's got the one left. Can be a little bit of a troll when it's coming all the way across the room like that, but now he's got him under control and gets a red mail for it.
Definitely not a bad item to get. It will make the later part of the game even easier.
Yes, indeed. And if I'm not mistaken, that is his fourth crystal? Still got Skullwoods, Hera, and Turtle Rock. So seems like maybe Hera ought to be next. Not sure what he's doing over. Oh, he's probably going to do the. Yeah, he's going to do the stuff you need the lift upgrade for.
Ah, he's going to get his silver arrows. Yep.
Oh yeah, okay. Had picked up that cape. A good move.
Now, the silver arrows are definitely one of those comfortable items,
Yes.
as it's not required to beat a randomizer scene with, but it does make it faster and easier by all means.
Yeah, that's just it. Especially with no half magic, if you feel like the time you have to take just to grab these things is time you would spend on Ganon, then it's a no-brainer. it's at the worst a wash, and you're under a lot less stress time picking them up than you are trying not to get killed in Ganon's room or fall off the edge or any other number of terrible things that can happen to you down there. And it looks like Ender is headed to Hera now.
Bit unfortunate that they do get the silvers this far into the run, as pretty much all the bosses it could be used on are already dead.
That's a good point. Baker down to 2.5. He's going to use his potion as he's fighting Cold Stare with the Tempered Sword. So as Dynasty mentioned, a pretty significant advantage over what Ender had to deal with. And he gets it wrapped up.
A quick few slashes here and there we go. Now Ender's finally going to be able to do Hera's basement and get his big key and be able to
he is.
Up to Moldorm.
Unfortunate that he took a heart of damage down on his way up here, as having the beam sword makes it so much easier to get this glitch right. And yep, once again got trolled by one of the tiles because of the bomb strat, so I'll have to contend with them. Shouldn't be an issue with red mail in Hera, but still. You'd rather, I think, take the time to just relax for a second, rather than having to worry about these tiles flying at your face.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because in these small breaks that you don't get often in the randomizer, it's a pretty good time to just think, okay, now what do I do next?
Yeah, absolutely. Finds the big key, as we knew, downstairs. And up he goes. Baker didn't find anything in the mire shed.
But he did find out what medallion is required to go into Mire, which I believe I saw was Quake.
It was Quake. Interesting. Quite possibly takes Mire completely out of play as well. Now that Baker has his lantern, having gone to ice, he's going to do desert. Interesting play. We know there's one item back.
That is true. It's still a play I'm not sure I would do at this point, considering there's only one item and you know you don't need dependent because you just checked both dungeons.
I just wonder if the way things have been going for him, if he's feeling behind right now, and that this is kind of a hopefully game-winning gamble for him.
At this point, yeah, he might feel like he is. We'll ask him after for sure.
Oh. Ender trolled by Moldorm picks up a heart or two for, well, let's be honest, no particular reason. He now has 12.5. That will be plenty for several falls to Moldorm if necessary. Gets a nice hammer off right at the beginning of the second go. And another, so one more. A little early, but gets it on the second try. So he makes it through, gives him a few more whacks for good measure, and... But yet another crystal. Are we going to see the one room in Turtle Rock check while we're up here? What do you think, Dynasty?
I hope not. It's one of those locations where I wouldn't even think about it at all in looking everywhere.
And Baker,
It's
unfortunately, finds 10 arrows for his trouble taking out Lanmolas. But it looks like Ender is doing just that. He's going to go ahead and I don't think he knows what Turtle Rock even is yet, so he's now and find out that he has the medallion.
no, I would hate it that Fire Rod would be in here because it's such a nasty location to find it in. It's like finding the ice rod in the final chest of laser
Yeah,
cores.
it's dirty if this is the
Yeah.
fire rod. Full credit to him if that turns out to be play, but that would be a tough one. Real tough one.
Looks like Baker is making his way with the blacksmith, and after that, we'll probably see the purple chest and the Bombos tablet.
Yeah.
So those are good locations also doing.
Ender finding a key, so it's not over yet. You can carry on. Most likely going to fire rod this pokey. When I say that, and spin slashes him, so
That would be the correct strat if he did have the fire rod.
oh, that's a good point. What I meant was ice rod him.
Yeah, it's usually the fire rod you want to
Yeah.
use because the
Normally,
ice
that's what you
rod,
want to use.
it's
Right.
such a
Oh,
weird item to use.
agreed. Yes. And half magic, so not for naught, but still remains a mystery. Let's see what the blacksmiths have. Or just go back to the dark world without asking. And Baker says, wait a minute, I missed a step. And they are boomerang smiths this time.
Now, Ender will be getting his tempered shortly enough.
Yes, he will. And Baker going to go ahead and do the long way, so Bombos tablet may be coming true here, Dynasty.
Oh man.
Ender getting just absolutely trolled by both the cave itself and by the jellyfish. There you go. And there's the tempered sword. Worth the trouble.
Now Baker is checking all these lower Hyrule Dark World locations as he
Oh
hasn't been to
no!
them.
He's fluting! We're still not going to get a Bombos tablet check.
Gets called a jerk by some random enemy here.
Piece of Hearts. And Bombos tablet maintains its lonely vigil. Is that where Ender is headed? No.
Well, he's going for the Dark World, I believe. So that's something Baker could check now.
Well, okay. So yeah, maybe he is doing that. We do have the Pyramid Bomb.
Oh man.
So we'll see. We'll see if the Fat Fairy has something for us. But yeah, looks like Baker is headed back to the Bombos tablet. I really do feel like this is his last chance to get an edge.
Indeed, it's one of those two locations, I believe, that would have something useful at this point.
I think we're down to it, yes. Could, of course, be something like the mushroom. Nope, just a piece of heart on Bombos.
Oh yeah, Meyer would be another location, but
Yeah, I was thinking overworld locations. The mushroom is in the Fat Fairy chest, so yet another fetch to go be done.
now he most likely will be go checking that mushroom as it's pretty fast once you have the flute.
That is true.
Much faster than doing Meyer, though.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's certainly worth it. It's a quick check. It's something red. Throw some powder on the witch's assistant. Very nice, Ender. And off we go to Meyer. And he will take the 20 rupees, why not? Yeah, I suppose he's now 7 away from being able to buy 4 blue potions. So, in a sense, it was a good 20 rupees to pick up. And there he goes. Now, I imagine he'll check the shed and checkerboard cave, but we already know there's nothing in there. Now,
Now the
Baker.
problem.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm fairly sure this is his into Palace of Darkness, unlike Ender made a double dip into it.
Indeed, so he'll be able to clear it in one shot.
Yeah.
Now, Ender, he has a small problem at the moment, and it's he doesn't have Quake, so
He doesn't
he
have
can't
Quake.
enter. No.
Yeah. What another little twist this is. So he now has the info. And he's thinking the same thing as Baker did earlier. Well, maybe Quake. It wasn't Baker thinking maybe Quake was back here, but it is Ender thinking maybe Quake is back here in the back of Desert. Of course, we know it's not. Baker, rightly, I think, doing a crystal dungeon. But we know that's the difference right now. And yeah, we did. That's true. We didn't see Baker get the silver arrows. He's of course going to have to fight the Helmsword King, and instead of having the easy one shot with one silver arrow in the jewel, as Sakura and Emma made so famous, he's going to have to do some spin slashes or some regular slashes or other to take him down. Ender, not bad, getting 2 out of the 3 land mobiles. First cycle, and perfectly times the 3rd shot, the 2nd cycle. And for his trouble, he shoots, I think, 3 arrows and gets 10 back. Now, I wonder if he's thinking, I haven't checked the pedestal. However, it would have to be the fire rod for him, because he knows Meyer requires Quake. So it can't be Quake. Can't really be anything else useful. But it looks like he might be checking it. Baker about to get his ice rod. And the validation rupee. All right, well, we're just about positive it's got to be Meyer, right? So where are we thinking? Dynasty, what chest is it going to be as Ender finds that quake?
I believe it's going to be in the most trolley chest, and that's the big key chest.
Okay. Now, that the trolliness of the big key chest, of course, can vary on where you find the big key. If you get it in that nice, easy room, you know, in the northeast corner, well, that's not so bad. But, you know, if you've got to go through the torches and fall down the hole and then key and then come all the way back around, yeah, that is pretty trolly. Shad's asking in chat if we think Baker has an opportunity to catch up. I really don't, since Ender has found Quake now. It's just too much of a margin. I mean, you'd have to see a lot of deaths and a lot of big time losses. Ender also has red mail. I mean, he's full of safety. 2 bottles of blue goo. He's got red mail. He's got 16, 17. So, unfortunately, I think the lead now is insurmountable. And Baker is just fighting for positioning here now.
Oh, yeah. Getting back into this lead would take some pretty bad deaths from Ender, and it's just very unlikely considering he has everything you just mentioned.
However, he's routing back, having picked up Quake. That's the weird part to me. Having picked up Quake, okay, he's going to check the pedestal. Now that you have Quake, I don't feel like there's a reason to check the pedestal.
Well, I think it's a good idea since he still doesn't know if he needs to finish Meyer or not.
Well, but wouldn't you figure that out by doing Meyer? That's what I'm saying. You'll learn as you go.
That is true.
On the other hand, I suppose if this said this thing is really hot, burn ow, then you could go mode Meyer in a sense. So I suppose there's an argument either way, but
it's one of those where it could be either way, really.
Yeah. I suppose that wasn't a big time investment. And he's headed on the right track now, so in thinking about it a little more, I think maybe... Smart move to kill off the Murdactyl before quaking, because, of course, they are immune to that. As Baker does a nice job finishing off the Helmus King and gets his map and crystal as a reward. All right, so Dynasty says the trolliest, the big key chest. I'm going to go with the switch chest, the button that's in the front room that you can only get after you've hit the crystal.
Yeah, that's not a bad choice too. It's one of those chests where, depending on your routing, you might do later on after doing part of it. Now, this seed has been pretty long so far, and not because these runners have been all over the place, but they have. But mostly because these dungeons have been quite trolly in their item placement, needing to go into exploring a lot of it.
That's true. And, as we're into yet another pendant dungeon with Ender, that's part of it there as well. As he's actually headed up to the fishbone room.
Not a room we often see.
No, I guess to grab an extra key to make sure he stays with keys, but it seems like, well, and he'll hit the switch, I suppose, as well. But it seems like Mire is a dungeon where you often end up with extra keys. So,
Yeah.
while it's nice to have the free one, it's just often not really necessary. Well, all right, he's hit the switch. He's going to check this chest and find yet another key. Baker, once again, we think when we consider it, probably losing a little time because he does not have the silver arrow. Butter sword for Ender in the switch chest, so it was not there.
Definitely not a bad item to get though, because
No.
finding the butter sword now, he will probably stop checking a lot of chests in the in Ganon's tower.
Right.
Because some people tend to check a few chests here and there while they have only Master Sword or Tempered Sword, just in case they can find silvers or butter sword.
Absolutely worth it, yes. Baker having a little trouble finishing up last Armos Knight, and there he gets him. Gets his red armor.
Or orange in this case.
Yeah, it is rather. It's almost peach. And Ender with the safety strat going to go ahead and open up all of the passages before he lights the torches. You do not need to do that if you can be quick, but Wizrobe might get in your way. You might have a slip of the thumb, so this is certainly make sure things work out.
Now we're coming up to the vanilla location for the big key, and I do believe it has to be that in there.
Wouldn't that be something?
And once he's a big key, one of the only.
Oh, it's a small key.
Oh. Huh.
So we must have seen the big key already. Either that or he's left one chest behind, but I don't think he has.
Oh, he hasn't done the spike room yet.
Oh. Well, he's headed to the big chest.
Oh,
No,
he does have the big key.
Got it. So, must have been in one of those. And it's the compass.
Oh man, I think this is even worse. And as Sinhei is saying in chat, Vitrus might have the fire rod.
I think he very well might. I'm not sure where Ender's headed now. Oh. Right. As you said, the spike chest. Or taking a long way around. No, I thought he grabbed that. Didn't he? He did grab that. So yeah. He's just taking the long way around to get to big key door. Well, Rack your brains, chat. Can you think of anywhere else this could possibly be than with Vitreous? Because I can't. What about you, Dynasty?
Unless we missed somehow a chest somewhere in a dungeon, I believe that's the only place left. Because they have checked both tablets by now.
Yeah. Yeah, they sure have. And no, as far as I recall, it's been full clears, as you were saying, Dynasty, of these dungeons. Primarily forced full clears. So... yeah, really, this has got to be it. We did see the end of Pod Shenron, and both players got through it just fine. The ice rod was in one of the basement locations. So half of the puzzle to Turtle Rock, but the other half, we think, is going to be right here as Ender starts the fight with Vitreous. And as you know, Dynasty, always nice to have silver.
Oh yeah, silver arrows on Vitreous is pretty much easy mode.
Absolutely it is. And here we go. Fire Rod. A little dance by Ender before he grabs it. You can go check for the ether if he really wants it now. But I have a feeling instead he's straight off to Turtle Rock.
He might end up doing Skullwoods first just to have a better routing.
That's absolutely true. I think he will do that first. Easy to forget Skull Woods because, my goodness, when did we last visit that place? About 25 minutes into the seed?
Oh yeah, it was a very long time ago. One thing to note here that I just saw on our tracker is we haven't seen any shield so far. That's kind of rare.
That is really rare. I wonder if we're going to see one of the randomizer rooms in Ganon's Tower have all 3 progressive shields.
That would be something.
Yeah. Ender very nearly falling in that pit out of habit, but caught himself and is now on the right track. Grabbing a third key for good measure, I guess. Certainly not required when you go to the back.
Now, Mothula is going to be a very quick fight with the Fire Rod and Half Magic, and also the Golden Sword.
Yeah, and strangely, Ender going ahead and checking this chest. What for? I'm not really sure.
That's true, as unless he's looking... Yeah.
I think he just realized, what am I doing? I don't need to do this.
Yeah, because with this Fire Rod, he is officially in go mode. He doesn't need to check any other locations.
Ugh, I'm getting trolled by the jellyfish. That's 3 times in a row. They're just blocking his path, and he says, enough is enough. Get out of here. I've had it with you. Please go ahead and drop some hearts while you're at it. Nah. If he could get them all on screen, he might have considered bombosing all of the Gibdos, too. Baker picking up his crystal. In Hera, Ender either not realizing or forgetting that the fire rod is glitchy when you go left to right, and you can't catch that lamp that way. It's got to be right to left. Antony Blaylock, this was not a pedestal seed. Ether was on the pedestal, and it didn't end up being a medallion that was required to enter any dungeon at all, much less a crystal dungeon. So we were very close, but didn't quite get there. Ender looking to make quick work of Mothula with the butter sword. Mothula being a little bit annoying, but he's able to get 2 quick hits there in the corner and put an end to her. Big key and the 6th crystal. Certainly looking to see him immediately mirror back into the light world. We're at the 2-hour mark, and then flute on up to Death Mountain to take on Turtle Rock in go mode.
Now, Baker is having problems finding the fire rod, but you'll still find out that he doesn't have a lot of locations left.
No, he really doesn't. I'm struggling to think of what else he could eat for at this point, although I think that will probably be partly covered by my memory of Ender checking things, interfering with that. He's probably got a few left that he's not checked, but either way, it's getting limited. Headed over to Meyer, though, so making the right play.
Getting trolled by the Murderdactyl.
Yeah, and he's going to take more damage. Quaked. Down to 4 hearts, I believe. Yep. Ender, meanwhile, manages to get a dash through the dead rock. I'm not sure quite how that worked, but he'll take it.
Yeah, any good movement you can get from dead rocks is a good blessing.
Yeah, it sure is. Shad's expressing his dismay at Baker in chat for not picking up those silver arrows. Absolutely agree. He went and did the check, so he is well aware of their location, but has either forgotten or just, for some reason, has not prioritized them.
It's gonna make the fight a bit harder. Well, he will have the golden sword, which will make the
dash strats with the cape. Should be fine, but it's good to have options.
Indeed. I do hope he still remembers it for later on, though, because if that's so, he's going to lose a bit more time on Ganon.
Yep, and we've just found a shield dynasty.
So the dream of Ganon's Tower having all of them is dead.
It is. Unfortunately, but still could get 2 out of 3, you know. You got a chance.
Now, he's going to go through Turtle Rock pretty fast, as since he is in go mode, will most likely not be checking any chest locations once he finds the big key and another small key somewhere.
That would be my guess as well. Baker running perilously low on magic, and he has run out. Has to use a potion, unfortunately. Used the cane of Berna in the previous room, and I'll be honest, not really sure why. And that has cost him a potion. Ender finding the big key on the island, so that was necessitated by just the way the items drop. So like you were saying, Dynasty, it's just the way these treasures have been distributed, causing our players a lot of grief when it comes to having to spend the time to look through them all.
Oh yeah, they spent a lot of time in this one. You can see at the clock that it's now over 2 hours, and these guys, well, they're still doing good for what they're what they see that's given them. But it's probably heavy on their minds right now that, oh man, my opponent must be almost done.
Yeah, you're feeling real nervous, having hit the 205 mark now. Ender taking the long way around, not really necessary. But I guess he'll have a look what's in the big key chest. Well, he found the key, so turned out to be the right play.
Yeah, this is gonna help him skip the laser bridge. As now with this key, he should have enough keys. If he finds one in the next chest here.
The next chest, right. Nice hookshot strat, but no, it's the map, so going to have to at least look a little bit into the laser bridge. Down to 2.5 hearts as well. We see some hookshot strats here. Yes, we will. And again, nicely done. And not quite getting the third because it hit the wall. So 1.5 hearts. Is he going to go ahead and try to get to the safety and bomb his way out? Nope, you don't have that key, Ender. Looks like that is what he's going to do. Yes. Can fight off the jellyfish. Yeah, S4, generally I see silvers as a bonus too, but it's turned out we had 3 bosses they could have benefited Baker on, as well as, of course, the gauntlet, the climb of Ganon's tower. They're very helpful, and then there's Ganon himself. It's that he could have gotten them very early, and that's kind of the issue, as Ender grabs that small key in the first chest he checks. Plus... Ender getting relieved of most of his magic by that anti-fairy, but eventually able to turn it into some delicious fairy. And
It's not a big problem, as there is always
the big refill coming up. Going to skip the heart, however. Interesting choice.
I don't blame him. I mean, he does have red mail and buttersword going in this fight. Oh, and
True.
also half magic.
Half magic, always a bonus with these guys, as we're seeing right off the bat. Oh, just missed. Trinex doing its best to troll with the head fakes and lay down some ice for good measure. Almost there. Got it. Now can we see a quick kill? Buttersword quick kill. 1, 2, 3. Very nicely done.
Very quick indeed.
Baker, yep, opting for the cape strat. Decides to lay down a bomb. Not really sure why. Did some damage, so I mean, more power to him. Yep, need to get those last 2 little guys. You're inside him, so yeah, there you go. Good. All right, and out comes Vitreous for a little bouncy fun. All right, got him. Shenron, we kill fire first because fire is the first one to come out. So you have the opportunity to get a quick kill on the fire head and then immediately switch over and get a quick kill on the ice head. And if you do it absolutely perfectly, you can actually get a 0 cycle of Trinex extending that middle neck. But generally, best case scenario, you're looking at a 1 cycle and it's right before he dies. So it's just an efficiency. Yeah, it's annoying when the ice side lays down the ice, but if you've got the butter sword anyway and you're going to quick kill him, it doesn't actually end up making much of a difference.
Now, Ender has made it into Ganon's tower, and I believe it's tradition to try to find where is the big key by typing a number in chat.
Yeah.
He already checked up to 3.
He has. I was talking about Trinex, so yeah, let's get some numbers, chat.
I usually pick 2, but he kind of is already over that, so
yes,
I'll go with 6.
Going with 6 now? All right. We got 4 and 5. I'm going to say 12. 6 is a key, but not the big one, and that's 4 small keys. So those are coming together quite nicely. Also, if we didn't realize it already, we've learned the stun pack item, so that could actually come in handy here. Another key. So Ender is going to be up to 5 after this. He's just going to eschew the iframe strat entirely in that room. Didn't quite get the bonk. Now he's got an easy path to chest number 10. Is it 10 or is it 9? Actually, this is 9. It's a piece of heart. Ah, you're welcome, Shenron. And we're on our way to the last 4 major chests in the left side.
In the rando room.
Yeah. $11, if I did my counting right. And grabs a bonus bottle for his trouble, does Ender, and so he's on his way. Meanwhile, Baker giving it to Mothula. Using the fire rod, which isn't a bad thing, but the butter sword does so much damage that if you have any kind of opportunity to use it, you ought to. And he gets it done.
And they're using a pretty good grouping strat on these mimics.
Yeah, and able to keep them facing not away from him, but not toward him either, so that's always a plus. Ooh, a nice job recovering from getting shot by the eye. That's right, S4. Yeah, butter and tempered both do real quick damage on Mothula. And you are correct. If you try to fight Mothula in the version of the game with the butter sword, you won't do any damage. It's bizarre, but That was the programmer's choice, because they did not see a way that could be possible.
It's great programming.
Yeah, I mean, they're right if you're playing as intended, but it's just a bizarre design choice, really, when you get right down to it. Yeah, in terms of damage dealt to Mothula, so on the randomizer, Butter and Tempered both do the same amount. And if my recollection is correct, that means 4 hits to kill Mothula. So very quick work.
Now, Baker now getting his silver arrows.
Yeah, and as chat has discussed, that's really routed out.
At least he gets them for Ganon, so he will
True.
be able to save quite a bit of time.
For Ganon and for the climb as well. Getting trolled by a dead rock, however. Ooh, Ender, nice done. Oh, he got him! Well done. And that is especially tough to do when the timing gets altered when you change the anti-fairy. So excellent work to one cycle that Landmola's too. Just missing that one cycle, Wizrobes.
Definitely not an easy strat to do, especially that second room here.
No, it is not. Taking a nice conservative strat to get those torches lit. And he's going to head straight upstairs. Well, he's going to wait. Or no, he's going to go ahead and get the bottle. And I think we saw the pause that means no despawn glitch, so that's always nice.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's nothing worse than that happening while you're racing.
Absolutely. Going ahead and opening those chests, I can't think of a reason why at this point.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, he already has the bug net for the swag strats.
Exactly. What else could you ask for? Well, and he gets a piece of heart that is a multiple of 4, so he's now got 18. Quick health upgrade, or health recovery. So, certainly not the worst thing that could have happened. And 2 quick slashes, and 2 is down. Validation Rupee. How about that?
Troll until the end.
Yes, it really is. Oh, and just sneaks through those bumpers, my goodness. Oh, misses a triple by a fraction, but still gets a nice solid double to start. Nearly gets another double. Two, 1-2 so far. Very well done by Ender. Fight. And he puts an end to Aghanim too very quickly. Nicely done.
I think that was only one blue ball, so not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Baker now entering Turtle Rock, who will soon find his half magic.
Oh, and he gets trolled by the Skull Kid. As Ender heads down into Ganon. Spicy barbacoa gammon. Nice use of the torch here, although trolled by the alignment of the fire circle. He's going to switch to cape strats and try to get some hits in. Don't know that that was enough. No, it was. So he safe to switch back.
Yeah, using the cape when you have the the butter sword is a really good idea. It speeds up the second phase so much.
Yeah, it certainly does. If you're not able to get in enough early hits and get trolled by those swirling flames. All right, on to the final phase. Ender ZX looking to put his stamp on another victory. He's got 3 hits. Good conservative avoidance of the fire bat there to set up his final shot. And GG to Ender ZX. He finishes with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 21 minutes, and 7 seconds. Well done to him. Congratulations, and he is in fantastic position here in Group L. Top of the group, 2 wins from 2 matches. You really couldn't ask for anything more, could you, Dynasty?
Well, you could ask for a few more wins, but that's yet to come.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Well, let's see if we can get him pulled in here with us. Have a little interview. In fact, here he is, the man of the hour, Ender. Oh, you're muted, so you might want to unmute yourself. Have a little interview. In fact, here he is, the man of the hour, Ender. Well, we'll hopefully have Ender with us here in a... But, yeah, once again, looking great at the top of Group L. Baker looks like he's going to come back around, say, oh yeah, there's a big chest over there, I should probably grab that.
Yeah, especially since it has a small key he needs in it.
Exactly. Wonder if he might give in to all of our curiosity and nope, not gonna check Mimic Cave. We'll just have to wonder. Maybe that was where the shield upgrade was. Well, Dynasty, what do you think may have been, you know, what came down to the ultimate difference here? Oh, I think we may have Ender with.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Congratulations, man. GG.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
No problem. So, how are you feeling? How does it feel being on top of Group F?
I thought I made so many mistakes during that.
Anything in particular?
As I was going into Mire, I was pretty sure Fire Rod was going to be in that dark room during escape.
Oh, interesting.
It was the only chest I didn't get during all of that.
That is a very good point. I don't think we even thought of that, did we, Diane?
That's true, because we saw your opponent go into it later on, but I did not see what was in there. Fortunately
Neither
for
did
you,
I.
it wasn't anything useful.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah,
But
I gotten all of the other chests in there. I missed that one, and I figured with my luck that would be it.
well, yeah, any of us who have played, we know that feeling. It's like, is this going to be the one? Is it going to do it to me? But I guess, thankfully, in your case, you had to wait till the end of Meyer, but you got what you were looking for.
Yeah, this seed definitely surprised us in how complicated it looked to find every item you need.
It was, I thought it was a super fun seed, though. Like, it wasn't too easy, and it wasn't super trolly.
You did get some early safety items, which had to at least a little bit comfortable.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Blue Cane for everything.
Yes, that much was apparent.
Yeah, especially right there at the beginning of sewers. No, I mean, where was it? It was in the very few first
I
chests.
used it to stop the dead rocks on Death Mountain.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's a very good one. So you did that. Saw you do that. Didn't you also...
I
You
had
used it
switched to it
somewhere
for
else.
blind, but I didn't use it.
Yeah, I didn't end up using it. You had it on Q, but you were knocking blind out like it was no problem.
And I also used it on Cold Stare.
Yes. Cold Stare and Baker had managed to pick up the Tempered Sword before even going into Ice Palace, so he didn't have to deal with what you did with a Master Sword Cold Stare with no Fire Rod backup.
Yeah, I had been practicing using the hammer, and then I realized how much damage I was taking and started panicking. So
Yeah, I mean, and you made the wise decision before going in there to go pick yourself up 2 potions. Use them both, and pretty early. So I was saying, well, okay, now it's time maybe to be a little bit more conservative. But when you flipped the cane on, it gave you the ability to just kind of go to town on the remaining blobs, and you made quick work of them. So nicely done. Really felt like your boss fights this evening were excellent. You were firing on all cylinders as far as that goes.
well, I had to do well in that to make up for all the bonking into everything else I did.
Well, I mean, if you're going to have a trade-off, not dying, bonking a lot, I think I know which one I would prefer. And it looks like we're going to get a right side gamble here from Baker, so we'll have a look.
I know Baker's PB'd with the last 2 practice seeds he's done, like both
Wow.
times. So
Really?
he's getting better every time.
Oh, and he's going tile room. I love this. Dynasty, maybe this will be the mirror shield.
It may be.
Dynasty pointed out that you guys didn't have any hours.
I still
and he
only
gets
ended up with
wall-mastered.
the first shield.
Yeah, no, I know. You just finally found that one in the back of...
Where did Baker get another one at?
Where was that? It's just happened. Oh, it was on Laser Bridge.
Oh, yeah,
Which, of
nice.
course, you got your key immediately, and so you just said, well, to heck with this.
Yeah, because I needed that spawn point because I knew I was going to die in that
Oh,
room.
yeah. And no reason not to, because you get the health re... So that was a smart play. And, yeah, I mean, good move, just immediately dashing to the bottom. Got red nails. You don't have to getting sniped by the squid guy. So, yeah, no brainer on that one, man. Well, let's see. You've got 2 more matches in Group L.
One of them is against you.
Yes, it is. Any thoughts on what's next for you?
I've got until Monday to practice better executions on overworld stuff. So
that's what your focus is going to be, overworld execution?
yeah, I'm comfortable with dungeons for the most part. I just overworld routing I still have problems with.
Yeah, and I mean, there were a couple times that we might have been thinking, well, is this really the right move? But overall, we thought, I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dynasty, but we thought that, by and large, you were making good decisions.
Yeah, I think that you were making correct decisions all over the place, but this seed has been kind of breadcrumbing you to go a bit of everywhere, looking for a few items that you usually get much early on.
Yeah, early access stuff you normally get as well. I mean, as chat pointed out, this was a dungeon, and not much you could do about it.
I know I didn't get anything from my first trip to Turtle Rock but half magic, but I am super glad I got half magic for that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we
I
were
mean,
wondering if that single chest could have like the fire rod in it.
right.
That's why I went there.
No, definitely worth it. Definitely a good play. Plus, if it had fire rod, you're able to pop right over to Turtle Rock. So it was perfectly sensible. And Baker finds his key, so he's gonna go ahead and mirror out, getting wall mastered in the tile room. Blessing, as it sent him to the left side.
Now, you guys both did a few dark rooms here and there, and you did fairly well. We saw you skip the I think it was only the maze room in the Palace of Darkness. You
Yeah, I
didn't do.
skipped that one. I can do it, but I'm not super comfortable with it.
That's
Yeah,
understandable. You're thinking,
it's so hard.
No, it really is. So you can hardly be blamed. And, I mean, yeah, that was a seriously late lantern and a seriously trolly location for it, but
Yeah, you gotta love that that ice palace lamp.
yeah. And in the last chest you checked on your second trip in, but you held out for it. You needed to finish ice anyway, and you got what you were looking for. Made your life easier.
Yeah, that was one of the things I've learned since I've started doing this was if it opened Ice Palace and I can't do dark rooms, I should probably just go to Ice Palace.
I think that's fair. I think it could be really any dungeon. If it's available to you and it doesn't have dark. If it's a crystal, why not check it first? You're gonna check it anyway. And if you're nowhere near go mode.
When I started playing this, I don't know, for some reason I didn't realize like most of the good items were in the dungeons. So I always tried to put those off until the end.
Yeah, I gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. Shenron is asking in chat if I'm staying after seed, and I have to say, you handled, as Dynasty put it, a seed that was throwing crumbs all over the place. Very, very well. So let's say I'm looking forward to our match because I think it.
Yeah, you're my last race for our group, so
okay.
My grand finale, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. So you've got one with.
I have Zane on Monday, and then you the Monday after.
Okay. All right. Well, cool. Be looking forward to that. And any final thoughts before we let you go?
Thanks for doing commentary, you guys, and thanks for restreaming and whoever's tracking. None of this would be possible without all of you guys. So it's let new guys like me come in and have the time of their lives.
It is really fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gotta hand it to everybody working behind. And that's Clifford doing the restream. So Yes.
Also, just thanks to the community in general, because you guys have all been super cool to me and other new people I've seen come in after me.
It's a really great community, and I'm glad you.
Yeah, I guess that's all I've got to say.
Well, great. Thanks for joining us. Any other questions before we let Ender go, Dynasty?
Well, I think we've been around most of it, and you had a great race, and glad to see that you're at 2-0 right now. As we can remind a bit of people in chat, the scoring in the groups right now means that 2-0 may be that's almost enough to go towards the next stage. You only need one more win, technically.
Yeah, most likely. You're not going to end up with a 3-way tie for first at 3-1. I don't think that's either not possible or it's highly unlikely. So yeah,
It's unlikely, but it is possible.
just not. Yeah, we're talking a very specific set of results have to happen.
Yeah.
Whoa,
So
Baker walking through. Unless, are you guys seeing this? That there's still a crack in the wall. It's not.
I saw the bomb go off, but I didn't see the hole open.
Exactly. Huh. I wonder if. Well, I don't know. Well,
interesting.
Don't think I've ever seen that before. So, and we don't have audio on our tracker, so we didn't hear whether it jinked. So anyway, all right. Well, once again, that's to you. Well done on what really was a tough seed. You're welcome, and thanks for joining.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, GG, man.
Thanks.
So Baker now is making his way through the last part of Ganon's Tower.
Yes, he is, and a little bit of improvising right there in the bumper spike room, but he gets through nicely.
Yeah, that was definitely a weird glitch, weird graphical glitch he got there. It's one of let's say at least it's not a despawn glitch.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you're gonna glitch in Ganon's Tower, how about having it favor instead of something like that? Ooh, nearly a triple. So I think we've got 2-0-0-2, so need 2 more. Oh, can't quite get this as it goes flying off at an angle. But there it is.
He was not quite as lucky with the placement, but he still got through pretty fast.
Yeah, not a bad fight at all. Ender with a VLC cone now on his stream. Very nice. Ah, there we go. And yeah, Baker realizing he's down to 2 arrows. Did miss a drop of 5 earlier. So he's going to go ahead and dig. It's never a good feeling to have to do this. You can't... Yeah, he's got to dig only in places where it's completely clear. And there are not a whole bunch here. All right, now he's over in a more... But getting absolutely no RNGs at all.
Now that's a bit unlucky because he doesn't need a lot for Ganon.
No, he doesn't. He just needs 5. And he has not gotten a single drop. But isn't that just the way it works, Dynasty? There we go, finally. That whatever item you need, you will get every single other drop out of it first.
That's true. I was almost considering that you go to a shop to buy them.
Yeah, I was trying to think of what a convenient shop to go to around here is.
I think maybe the shop by Lake Hylia has it.
Yeah, they might. They might. All right. Going for the spin slash. Better watch out, taking some damage here. And good use of the bonus red potion that he picked up again at the tower. Switching to the cape strats. Nice choice.
Only needs a few slashes here to get his HP down low enough so he starts teleporting away in his third phase.
All right. On to the final one. It looks like he's going to go for the quick arrows. And can't quite get it. Tries to do the very difficult torch glitch with the fire rod. I much prefer to just cheese it with the lamp. Oh, an unlucky timing on those torches. Oh! Dodges a fire bat that was gunning for him. He's able to get in another shot. And another. Gonna need one more here.
Down to his the last arrow.
And here it is. Got it. Well done. Some celebratory buzzes for the bow with no arrow. And well done, GG to Who42baker. And looks like he finishes with a SRL official time of 2 hours, 42 minutes, and 3 seconds. That is a PB improvement of 10 minutes, 35 seconds, and with a seed like that. So really, well done to Baker. Very nice to see something like that. So excellent, excellent stuff. We'll see if we can get Baker in. For a quick word. All right.
He'll be here soon enough.
Yeah.
Now, this is a good time to do a bit of shout out. Oh, I think he's already here.
Baker. GG and congrats on the new PB.
I think he's already here.
Baker. GG and congrats on the new PB. We can't hear you. So if you can hear us, something's going on with the microphone. In the meantime, why don't you go ahead with that, Dynasty?
Yeah, I was saying let's give a shout out to everybody that's been in here and helping us. Let's start with the runners, Ender and Baker.
Found it.
Ah, there we go.
There we go.
I forgot what button my hotkey was on.
Yeah, there you have it. Well, once again, GG and
Thank you. GG to Ender.
Yeah.
That up.
Yeah, he's not with us, but I'm sure he'll be glad to accept it. But yeah, I mean, boy, what a seed, huh?
Yeah, that ended up all dungeons, and
Man.
I got real worried when I checked pedestal.
Yeah,
That
so
was
did we. Well,
something.
we were hopeful.
Yeah, I was hopeful that it wasn't.
Well, and the irony is, we were hopeful for you that it was because you had that information, and Ender didn't. So it was a potential path for you to get back in.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I should just load up the seed again and pull it just for fun. Make this a full 100%.
May as well, right? I mean, there can't
Yeah.
be too much left. And you nearly did the tile room.
I was gonna go full right side.
Yeah.
I usually do, and I got grabbed by the wall master, and I thought, okay, never mind.
Yeah,
I'll just go
ended up
left.
saving you some time in the end, of course.
Yeah, I guess so. It was
Yeah.
in rando room.
We were all curious to see what was over there, if we could finally get the mirror shield, because Dynasty pointed out that, you guys didn't have any shields at all for like 2 hours.
Yeah, I think Turtle Rock
Yeah.
gave me my first shield.
You got 2 of them in there, actually.
Was it both of them?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought the other
Yeah.
one was Ganon's Tower, maybe.
It most likely was, considering you cleared pretty much everything else, so not a whole lot of other options it could have been. How do you feel? You feel good about the way that you dealt with all the curveballs that were coming at you?
Yeah, I think I did okay. I would have liked to not have died in Skull Woods as much.
Yeah, that was quite the troll room for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, and all I got out of it was a small key.
Of course.
That was the
So
kicker.
Even worse.
I was counting on it having a big item for me, and then it found that Skull Woods had nothing. I guess
Yeah.
I never checked anything.
It's a good play. It's absolutely a justified play. So I think you were right to stick around there. But just just a bad luck situation all the way around.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I did it. I've had fun playing it. This seed.
Well,
I
good.
kind of like these 100% seeds because they're close to the vanilla game.
Yeah, they
Indeed.
are that. What were you saying? Sorry, Dynasty. Still got you there?
Oh, sorry, I'm having a bit of a connection issue right now.
Oh, okay. Well, no worries. Well, all right. Yeah. Any final thoughts before we let you go, Baker? I can imagine after nearly 2:45, you're maybe needing a glass of water or something.
Yeah, I should probably go do that now. GG to Ender though for beating that seed. That is ridiculous.
Yeah. No, it was definitely a toughie. Well, all right. Enjoy that refreshment, and thanks for coming in with us. GG to you as well. Thanks.
Peace.
Well, all right, Dynasty. Why don't we make it the third time's a charm on those shout outs?
Yeah, let's go for that. So as I was saying twice before, please follow both our runners here, Ender and Baker, on their respective channels. You can also find our tracker, Emosaro, the restreamer Clifford, and of course, to both of us, the commentators, starting with Justin Z, of course.
Well, and hey, give yourself a plug.
Yeah, of course. I'm Dynasty Zero, and I've been commentating this seed tonight. That was quite a long one. Quite fun.
Certainly was. And we've also got running the marathon along with us, tracking Emosaru. Our thanks to her. And of course, our thanks to Clifford for restreaming for us all here on Randomizer.
Now there's more Randomizer to go on tonight, so I'm going to look quite fast if there's anything else.
Well, we've got several more coming up.
Oh, that's right. There is another 2 other, at least at 8, that are running. Loot Dolphin versus the Panda 1016 on the Randomizer 2, and I believe that's the channel we are in right now.
Yes, it is.
And there's also Flaffykins versus Wef Jebster on Randomizer 1, or just Randomizer Mania, I think.
Yep, Randomizer Mania. And hey, who's doing the commentary on that?
I am.
Hey, there we go. And then, of course, over in the main tournaments, we've got some as well coming up. Let's see, what in the heck time is it anyway? Because I'm over here in the UK, so I can never keep straight. What is it, 20 after 6?
So
20
it's
after 6 East Coast
6:20.
time. Yeah, so we've got Mike the V and Salty Fry on Speed Gaming right now with Glentie on commentary, as well as Triscorp and Nicolachi having just gotten started at 6. Walking Eye and Zero Rush at 7 with Herfy on commentary with Ninnies, and that means it'll be 1 a.m. in Germany where Herfy will be commentating from, so give him a little love and help him stay awake. Sidereal on Hippos at 8 p.m. with Adirondack Rick doing commentary on that one. And then we've also got Pika Pals and Drunken Draconian. That's on Speed Gaming at 8 p.m. As well as a few more. So, yeah, got quite a bunch coming up for you the rest of the day. More
Quite-
Legend of Zelda Link to the
Yeah.
Past Randomizer Mania.
Quite a busy night tonight, and if you like this race, there's plenty more to watch, as this tournament has barely begun.
It really has. We have so much more to go.
We're only now in our second week, and there's probably enough randomizer to go up to, man, at least December.
Oh, yeah. We've got plenty action coming for you guys. So, any final thoughts for us before we get going here, Dynasty?
Well, I'm gonna say this was plenty of fun. Sometimes a long seed like that, it changes a bit around from having what they call in the community a jet seed that finishes in 1 hour 20. So it was fun to commentate.
Well, I enjoyed it as well. Thanks for joining me. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you out here again.
All right. Well, have a good night, folks.
Yep. For Dynasty Zero, I'm Justin Z. Thanks for joining us. So long.